to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I'm doing my wrap up for January. I'm gonna show you what I completed and share with you my calendar. This really worked out really well for the month of January, and I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to tell you what I rated the books and how I liked them and stuff like that. So, and then I will tell you what I didn't complete yet. So, I made my own calendar, and this is from the Dollar Tree. And I made my own calendar. So this is I Love to Read books, and inside is the Dollar Tree calendar. So inside, I designed my January. So here is my January layout. And what I did was I put a post-it note here, and these were the books that I wanted to read in January. So I had a little checklist. The books that I picked out of my jar are written on there. So I picked out 8 books, and I didn't complete 3 of them. So I did pick out 8, but I read 12. So I did read other things that weren't on this list. So yeah, so this worked out really good. I wrote down exactly when I was reading it, with who, and stuff like that. And on here was my YouTube channel, and I was posting things, and also when I participated in TBR Takedown, and About a Book, so I was journaling in there, so it worked really well. And also Read My Own Damn Books I participated in that. So let's see, let me go for my other journal. So that was my January, and it worked out really good, and I really liked this, and I left this on my desk, and I was able to check off and keep reading and stuff like that. So, so here is my reading journal. I took my little tab off of it. This is my reading journal, so I'm going to go through this and share with you what I completed. So when I first opened up the book, I made a little chart because last year I couldn't figure out each month, and so now in my first page here, I kept a tally. So it says total books read. I read 13 books, but out of the 13, I DNF'd 1. So yes, I read 1 YA book, 1 new adult book, 6 adult books, which was really crazy, and then I DNF'd 1. Nonfiction, I read 3. I read 1 graphic novel, and which was also a middle grade, and 4 of those 13 books were audio. So I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to share with you each one. I did a little review, so I'm going to go quickly for the first couple of books because I already did a video on that. So if you want to check that out, it's on my channel. So the first book that I completed in January, finally after a year, I completed Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And this one was an audio book, and I don't think I added that. So actually I read 5. 5 were audio, not 4. So let me add that here. So 5 books. So 5 were audio, and I finally finished that book, and I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read was Gifts from the Sea, and that was a nonfiction book, and that was on my 2016 reading list, and I gave it 3 stars. It's this one here. Okay. And the next book that I read was Colleen Hoover, November 9, and that one was a regular book, and I gave it 4.5 stars, and that was my new adult book. So that's that one. The next book that I listened to on audio was The Confessions of a Shopaholic. I listened to it on audio, and I also watched the movie, and I kind of liked the movie more than the book. So, yeah, but I will continue it because I own the whole series, and I gave this one 3.5 stars, and that was on audio. I think I don't like it because the audio person has an accent, and it's kind of annoying, so I think that's why I didn't enjoy the book as well, but I did really like the movie. So that's that one. Okay, here's my one that I DNF'd. This is a YA book. I started it. I took it out from the library. I started in October, and it was really good in the beginning, but after a while, when they got to London, I didn't really like it anymore. So, and then I couldn't renew it from the library, and I just sent the book back. I read 140 pages. The book that I DNF'd was The Girl from the Well by Rin Chapelko. Maybe I would just wasn't in the mood to finish it or what, but I didn't have time and I had to send it back to the library. So that was my D and F. So the next book is an audiobook. And this one I really, really enjoyed. Yes, I was really hesitant to read this one because there was so much hype about this book. Yeah, and it's on my 2016 reading list. So I finished The Help, and by Catherine Stockett, and I actually gave it 5 stars and put it in my favorites. There you go. Yeah, it was really, really good. I listened to it on audio, and then I watched the movie, and the movie was very good, same as the book. So, yeah, the movie was pretty good as well. So, yeah, so that was it. So the next book, I started watching this movie, and I was like, oh, I have this book. So I ran to my shelf, and I took the book out. I stopped the movie, and I read the book, and then I watched the movie right after. So there was a lot of discrepancies from the movie to the book. This was a nonfiction book about mental health, and the book I'm talking about is Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. It's this one here. I only gave it 3 stars. In the movie as well, only 3 stars. It wasn't the same as it was a little jumping around from past to present. It didn't keep me focused, and the movie was totally different than the book. Like, it had different things, but yeah, so I gave that 3 stars. The next book I took out on audio from the library, and it's After You by Jojo Moyes, and I gave this one 4 stars. So that's this one. It was really good. I actually cried while listening to this book. And again, the narrator I didn't really like because she has an accent. So yeah, it was a little hard to understand. I had to rewind it a couple of times. And also, the very end I did not like. I had to rewind it twice to listen to it to see. I'm like, that's how she ended it. So yeah, I was a little disappointed, so I gave it 4 stars. Okay, the next book is a graphic novel I took out from the library. It's also a middle grade book. It's called Spelling Trouble. It's The Adventures of Salem Hyde, and it was really, really cute. I gave it 4 stars. It's this one here. Yeah, it's a cute one. I would like to take out the rest of the series from the library and see if I like it. It's great for middle grade. I think it's a 2-point 2nd grade reading level. Yeah, but I read it in about an hour or so. Yeah, it was really cute, and actually my daughter actually read it as well because I had it out from the library. So the next book that I read was called The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. And this is a nonfiction book. This was the book I was reading with the Mom to Triplets 04 reading list and the Goodreads group. And I gave this one 4.5 stars. This, as I said, is a nonfiction book. I just felt like it was a couple of times, I know it's a true story, but a couple of times I kept on saying, wow, this really happened? Wow, this really happened? Some of the stuff was like a little, I don't know. But yeah, so I enjoyed it after a while, but I did struggle reading it. It took me a long time to read it, and because the font was so tiny and I had to wear my glasses, but I did enjoy it. Again, 4.5 stars. So the next book that I read, and this one, I have the book, and I started reading it, and I almost DNF'd this one. And then I had an audio credit from Amazon, and so I said, let me just get the audio. I'll use it for this book, just to try not to DNF it, because it was a pretty interesting story. So I got the audio and listened and watched and read at the same time. And I'm glad I did, and I finished it. I gave it 4 stars. It was called Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. And the reason I was struggling with this book is the names in this book were very hard to pronounce, and there was a lot of different languages in it. Like at some point she was talking different languages. I don't like when I stumble across the words. I like to read word for word. I am not a skipper. So when I start skipping, that actually brings it down a star for me, because that is why even put the word in there if no one could read it? So yeah. So this place takes place in Iceland. I did enjoy the story. It is based on a true story, but it's not. She did change it, so it is not. It is fiction, so it's not. It's based on a true story. It's about a woman who kills two men, and then she goes on trial. Yeah. So it was really interesting. I really enjoyed that one. So, and I read this Read with Friends. The next book I took out from the library because after I watched Sylvia's video about the signs and horoscopes and all this, I was like, I'm not going to go buy a book. I said, I'm going to take it out from the library. So I found Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and I am an Aquarius. I took this out. It's all about the air signs. It looks like this. I took it out from the library. I gave it 3 stars. It is a middle grade learning about the signs. So I did read this book. It's only 36 pages. I was surprised it was so short. It's told for middle grade. So it's very interesting. I did take some quotes from Aquarius out of it, and I put it in my Fibonacci. I put it in my journal, and then I returned the book. I did not read the entire book. I only read the Aquarius part. So basically, it was only 7 pages that I read out of this book. I did return it, and I did take out the next one. I took out the Pisces one, which is my husband, and I took out Virgo, which is my children. So I have not read them yet. I do have them out from the library, but they are middle grade. They are fast read. I want to read it and take some quotes out of it and stuff like that. Yeah, so that if you can get it from the library, I suggest getting it from the library and just like how I did it. I don't suggest buying it unless you have all 3 people in the same thing. So I would have to get 3 books, which is not worth it for me. So anyway, take it out from the library. So I enjoyed it. Again, 3 stars. And the last book that I finished was a book that I read with Janie. It is my first Harlan Coben book, and when I looked up the author, I was entering everything in my computer, and it says, where do these people live? And I found out he lives in New Jersey, which is where I live. So it's really cool and interesting that I have an author that I read that's highly recommended, mystery, thriller type books, and I really enjoyed this one. It was a little far-fetched, so I did drop it down to a 4-star, but I did read it kind of quickly. Well, it took me about 10 days to read this book. It was 509 pages, but for 10 days to read that much, which is great. It's about 4 teens that are in camp, and they turn up missing and they turn up dead. And then the story takes place in 20 years later, and they go back in time and they do all that. So it was a little far-fetched for me. I don't see how the brother could wait 20 years to find his sister. So yeah. But I did really enjoy his writing style. It was a fast kind of read. Janie gave it 5 stars, but I dropped it down a star. I'm sorry. But, yeah, I will continue reading Harlan Coben's books. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that's that one. So now what did I not complete? So I am in the middle of 2 books right now. Yes, I'm reading City of Bones. I'm focusing on this yesterday and today. I did get a little bit further in this book. And this is really funny because I was at the synagogue yesterday, and a girl who was in 7th grade was holding this book, and I said, I'm reading that book. And she's like, what page you on? And I'm like, I'm only on 100 and something. She's like, I'm on 200 and something. It gets better, because I told her it was a little slow for me. She's like, it gets really bloody by page 200. So let's see where I am. I am on page 218. It hasn't gotten bloody yet. So, yeah, so we're in the middle of the book. So I will continue reading this. I am enjoying it. It's very fat, and I will continue reading it. I definitely will finish this in February. I have to finish it. I hate putting things down. I always start things and not finish it. So yeah, and actually my daughter wants it. She's like, hurry up and finish that book, because the other girl in 7th grade in Hebrew school is reading it, and she's like, I want to read it too. So she's like, hurry up with that book. So yeah, so I am commenting all my thoughts about this book on the Goodreads group. So if you haven't read it or if you want to read it, it is up on my Goodreads group. So that's this one. And I keep on choking. And the second book that I am listening to on audio, I have this out from the library. I have Grey Mountain by John Grisham. John Grisham used to be one of my all-time favorites authors. I read The Jury and Pelican Grief and whatever he had out back in when he first started writing. I was reading all those books, and I was working in the law firm. So, yeah, so I was reading all that. So I have this one out. I'm listening to this on audio. I'm also following along within, this is a large print from the library, and I'm following along. I am on page 381, chapter 28. If I had to rate it right now, I would give it a 3-star. It started out really well, and then it lost me. And I'm like dragging and dragging. It did get to a plot twist, so now it's like between a 3 and a 4 right now for me. I'm seeing what's going on. Like, I don't want to tell you about the plot twist or anything, but I was like, what just happened? I had to rewind it. I was like, really? So, yeah, I am still reading this, so we'll see. This is on my 2016 reading list, and this was supposed to be started February 1st. So I am ahead on this one, and I am commenting my thoughts on Goodreads. So if you are reading it with me, my thoughts are already there, so when you would start out and you could comment with me. Remember, I put it in each, I have a list here, what each chapter, and I put in my thoughts as I got to each chapter. So, yes. So, I'm continuing to read this, and I will definitely finish this in February. I am dragging along, but I am reading it. So, yeah, audio. I'm listening to an audio, so it's a woman talking. Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. So that's what I am continuing to read. Now I want to show you my January. I showed you this already, but I did not get to Redeeming Love, which is a spoiler because I just bought the book. I had to return it to the library, but I did not get to that. I will hopefully get to that one day. And I also had Deal Breaker from Harlan Coben written on here, but I did not get to that book at all. So that goes back on my TBR. And Redeeming Love goes back into my jar. So now I'm going on to February. So let me go. I'm going to turn the page and show you what February looks like. So my February calendar looks like this. And it's really cool. I decorated it with love. And here is my birthday. And here is the dog's birthday. Yes, we got the dog about the same time as my birthday. So, yeah. So what am I reading in February? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books picked out. So we'll see if I get to all of those. So I have Grey Mountain, which I'm reading right now. I have Royal We, which I'm reading with Read with Friends. I have Green Mile, which I'm reading on my book club. I have Mediator, which I'm reading on with my book club. I have Allegiant, which I want to read before March because the movie is coming out. I have The 13th Tale, which is on my 2016 reading list. Or I pulled that out of the jar, I think. Yeah, I think that's on my reading list. So I pulled that out of my jar. And then I have Rule, which is on, I don't know, I must be reading that with somebody, or I just bought the book. I don't remember. I have Rule written here. And then I have, I don't know if I wrote it on here, who I was reading that. Oh, I'm reading with, Rule by Jay Crowover is on my Kindle, and I am reading that with a year-a-thon. So it's on my Kindle. So I'm hoping to read that one. So that one's there. And then I have, did I mention I Love You? I had to look at the name of the book. Did I mention I love you? And I'm reading that with my book club. I added that for the whole month of February. And WTF Are You Reading is also reading that with me. And then I stuck Vendetta on there. I did buy the book, and I want to read that before the second book comes out. So, yeah, so I have a lot of books that I want to get to. I don't know which ones I will be doing as audiobooks yet. I do have 2 credits for Amazon, and I have 1 credit for Scribd, so that's 3 credits, and sometimes I could get them from the library too. So, hoping that I will grab some of these on audio. So we'll see. February only has 29 days, sorry, and it's my birthday month. So yeah, so there's a lot there, and that's it. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.